putting that up because they are going to be playing at Brickyard Bar and Grill, the Clarion Hotel, May 14th. That's exciting. Why is that so exciting? Well, it's because it's a rebranding, a reopening, post COVID for the Clarion Hotel and the Brickyard Bar and Grill. They're going to finally get this thing open and running again. New owner, new excitement, new events. And my friend Alex has been the booking ace, is going to be the driving force behind that whole thing. So he's energized, and he's pretty good. I gotta give him a lot of credit for this one, and I think it's excellent. Really, I really do, and I'll tell you why in a couple of moments as to why I think that is. Let's just kind of square this up a little bit nicer over here. Let me go over to Facebook. And let's go to Facebook. This way we can edit the audience so we can get all you guys on this thing. Boom. I don't even know why that is. I got to see if we can figure out why that remains, but it does. Let's go to comments. We good there? That's good. That's good. And here's the thing. I mean, obviously, this should be a lot of fun. No cover charge, anything like that. So that's good. So Illusions, never heard them play. You can see the videos that are up on their site, Women Who Rock. And it's a tribute to Women Who Rock. So it seems like where I read it over there looks like a cover band of sorts. So that should be good. And but let's talk about it. Let's talk about that branding thing. Yesterday I went into it quite a bit about your brand and stuff like that. But now this is a rebrand. To rebrand, if you go take a look at the Clarion Hotel, strategically located, it's right on Vets Highway, very close to the airport. So in that respect, it's good. There's a number of other hotels over there that are also right by the airport. I would say it's walking distance. Although for some of you, it probably is walking distance. But, it's a short car ride, short Uber ride, short cab ride, short whatever ride, away on that one. So definitely servicing the airport, definitely servicing the business community in and around that Ronkonkoma area, the Ronkonkoma hub, which is extensive, very, very extensive. But now they're starting out with an existing hotel, and then they have to rebrand it. Is that easier or is that harder than starting up with a brand new brand? Actually, I think it's a little bit more of a challenge because now, and I don't see what they've changed over there, but it is new owners. So as any situation that you run across, if you're a new owner, you want to put your own stamp on it. You want to put your own footprint on whatever it is, and then go about doing that. How do you do that? Well, Alex is going to help him out with that. Get some music back into place, planning a grand opening. Mentioned also a couple of things I didn't know about the place too. Knew it existed, but the amount of people they have a banquet room in there too, things like that could hold. I believe you said a couple of thousand people, so it's plenty of opportunities. Plenty of opportunities. But what if you have to go through a rebrand? What do you do? Do you like take your site down and start all over again? Do you just kind of migrate over, add new photos, new content, different kinds of events that you're putting up over there and just quietly do it and then wait until you have that grand opening, that big splash? I think that would be the way to do it, especially if you need to continue to generate income and things like that. So just let's call it a morphing of the brand more than just a flat out complete change of the brand, unless it's something that's just drastically different. It still is a hotel and it still has a bar and grill. They're just redoing everything within there. So I tend to think that the slow migration would actually be the thing to do. Or if I know Alex XP, it'll be a pretty quick migration, to get everything set, social media sites, all the rest of that, the Facebook, so LinkedIn, and now you're talking about it, TikTok, and a few of those other things to make it work that way. So it should be fun, and that is going to be, like I said, it's at night. I don't recall what the starting time was, but it is at night over at the Brickyard Bar and Grill at the Clarion Hotel. All right, so that's what's going on there. So we'll have Alex on over here to talk a bit more about, and it would be interesting actually to look at this thing from that business perspective about the efforts over there with the hotel, with the bar and grill. I think his effort is a bit more on the bar and grill and the event side of things, hence the booking ace. And we'll see what where that could work out, with a lot of the things that we are doing here also. It's always quite a few things. Other than that, other events that are coming up tonight, and it looks like an absolutely gorgeous night here on Long Island, and that is at the Mount Carmel Church. The Long Island Needs a Drag Strip folks have got their Tuesday night car show, and this might be, this might be the first Tuesday night where the weather is really cooperating. They got started back in April on that. I went down there for the first couple, man, and it was cold. Last couple, kind of raining. Tonight, I think it's going to be gorgeous. So it should really be a nice night for it. So I heading down there, invited a couple of people too. So we'll see what goes in that respect. Also looking to figure out how to use the video side of my camera a little bit more. So that's been another little learning experience as we go through, including using this thing and making that whole thing work. Doug, good afternoon to you. And thank you for joining us here today on Tomato Talk, Top of Mind, advancing through obstacles. Obstacles. All right. So the other thing that is happening is the HIA trade show. So that's been progressing along nicely. If you want to rent a booth, there is still spots available, and I can tell you they're all excited. This thing is back at the Suffolk Community College Brentwood campus. It's been the big arena, so that it is great. Get a lot more businesses involved over there. So the trade show floor should be exciting. You want to register in advance. I'll say this time and time again. You want to register in advance. This way, it doesn't cost you anything to walk the floor. So go and do that. You want to wear a mask. You don't want to wear a mask. Whatever you want to do, all good. It is definitely a well ventilated spot. You don't have to wear a mask. I mean, there's no requirement when it comes to that thing. You might feel more comfortable doing it. Okay. You know, just whatever you would like to do, you'd like to do. The other component in there is Ron Loveland, and that is the manufacturing committee. They are making a bit more of a job fair in their world with that. So I've been posting the flyer up from Ron. And if you're involved with any of the groups that are looking for careers, any job search groups, things like that. So spoke to, we'll be doing that. It's two different groups I know that are doing that. I do expect a few other large groups that'll be sharing it out, also. So this way, those that are looking for careers in manufacturing, and what a generic term that is, really, in manufacturing or working for the manufacturing companies, because it could be any one of a million and one different things. So I'm really curious myself, talking about branding, preconceived notions, all the rest of that kind of stuff is like, what really is it that can be an exciting career in manufacturing? I know for me, I'd probably go nuts if I just sat on an assembly line, hour after hour doing the same thing. You watch those videos of the car manufacturing companies, when the car moved, and that was such an advancement too, right? It used to be the folks got around the car and built the car. And then when the assembly line came on, the car moved, and then you just did your thing right smack at where the car was when it appeared. And it was the same thing you did day, hour after hour after hour after hour. I don't know. It would drive me nuts. It would drive me nuts. Obviously, things changed. A lot of that stuff is robotics now. It's not even people doing the work. Got a lot of people involved in the design, making sure all those computers, robots, and all the rest of that stuff operates. But that's where that goes. But these manufacturers, what kind of careers are involved with some of these manufacturers? It's unbelievable. Really, the diversification of different companies that are in and around the Hauppauge area, and also, of course, in the rest of Long Island, but in the manufacturing group. You got so many drug companies that are, making, obviously they're supplying the medical industry, others that are supplying the health food industry. So we won't call that the same thing, but the others that are supplying the health food industry, the aerospace industry, just incredible. You know, it goes back to, again, you don't know until you really start paying a little bit of attention to it. But I always thought when Grumman left, that was it. Republic Airport, right? That was another the Republic, not the airport. The airport's still there, but Republic. They were building planes World War II. Grumman obviously building planes World War II and beyond, which is now Northrop Grumman, still doing amazing stuff. But none of them are here. None of them. Maybe they have some branch or something here, but nothing like what it was. Nothing like what it was. I can only imagine what it was like when that Bethpage facility was operating full tilt with the planes that they were building, testing, flying out of here. Same thing with Calverton. Those planes were flying. Those are jets, man. It was the F-14 jets and such. When they were flying out of there, must have been kind of exciting to see that, to see all those planes all that time. Now we have a bunch of the old World War II planes that are at Republic Airport. They have some of those older military aircraft, which they go out and they fly. I get the Tank Museum too, as an aside. Not exactly aerospace, but the Tank Museum also at Bethpage. I believe that's right by Bethpage Village Restoration. There's a whole lot of aerospace industry that was here. It's gone, but it's not. It's really not gone. It's kind of, I'm sure it's transformed quite a bit, and I'm going to learn a lot more about that when I get down to that trade show, because I'm curious to see what real careers are there. I've been talking a lot about the fact that hey, Mike, afternoon to you. Got a beautiful day to take some photos. It's, we're talking a lot about these automotive programs and how that can lead to construction, manufacturing, aerospace careers. If you understand that building concept, the metals, working with that, the welding, electronics, reading blueprints, teamwork, project management, all the rest of them. I had asked somebody at one of the aerospace companies, I was like, I've been saying a lot of this stuff. It's like, I believe it's true. It's like, and let me ask somebody that's actually on the inside of it. It's like, am I understating this, overstating it? I mean, really, what are the transferable skills that would take place if somebody's in an a true automotive program? He's like, most of, heck, even the planes have got wheels, right? So there's still that aspect of it. But all the rest of those skills translate. They translate really well. Obviously, if you're building an internal combustion engine on a car, it's a little different than building a jet engine on a plane. But the but on that one, is that if you're in 10th, 11th grade and, you find that, aerospace is a little bit more your fancy and you want to go down that route, you got the BOCES, Wilson Tech. I think it's the BOCES program that's got the aerospace in there. You can start working on these engines, jet engines, and it's all paid for. That's paid for by you and I. I don't know. That part of the learning experience is definitely paid for by us, by the community, by our taxes. But why not? Why not? I've stayed away from a lot of the political stuff, but that side of it, I think that's great. I really do. Yeah, I think overall, I think the more and more specialized programs we have inside of these schools, the high schools, or younger, the better it is. It's all got to be age appropriate and stuff like that. But, are we really teaching kids about what are the possibilities? Are we? That's something I'd like to have a sit down with one of the teachers in a variety of areas, including the arts teacher, the graphic artist, that aspect of it. Even history, and obviously anything that's got to do with technology and workforce development coordinators, all of them. It's like, how much effort, time, energy, and effort is the schools putting into the students to learn how to be creative, how to be an entrepreneur, how to see the world of possibilities, not just the world of test taking, but the world of possibilities. That's something. And that probably is the biggest driving force on my side of it, when it comes to doing these career days and things like that. Because I don't know how much ability these schools really have in order to do that. Who's going to teach that? Hopefully, the workforce development coordinators do, if they actually have that much time to do it. The DECA program, the other programs where the students are building businesses and then going to these different trade shows that are internal within the school system. That's showing creativity. And that could be the greatest experience of them all, because the last one that I had went to is Rocky Point High School. I was helping out the teacher with that and the students, and and they came up with, it's funny. The first year I did it, they came up with a new company. The second year they did it, those students work with the existing company and then just kind of rebranded it. Who do you think did better? It was the first group of students. They owned it. They owned it. Hey, Alex, if you listen to this, remember that new owners have to own it, and I don't mean financially own it. I mean own it. Really own it. Really, really need to make it there. So that rebranding needs to be a big splash rebranding. New whatever it is, new attitude, maybe it is something like that. But that's it. But that's what But working with those students to teach them, the world of possibilities, and I can tell you, it was amazing. So the classroom size there was about 30 students. Where we at? Classroom size there was about 30 students. And yeah, I was just reading my wife's post there. Good afternoon on this beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. I got to do this thing outside one of these days. I just ran out of time. Could you imagine one of those things again? Just roll everything with at the last minute, so I didn't get a chance to go do that. Invite myself on as a guest and do the thing. But that class. Let's stay focused here. That class was about 30 students, roughly 30 students. That class of 30 students, all of a sudden, they all had the ability to do anything inside of that class with whatever that project was. And then all of a sudden, what happened is their own personalities completely came out, because everybody was asked to participate. Everybody was asked to do. Everybody was asked to find their role in this company. Some folks raised their hand. They became leaders. Some folks might have been volunteered to be leaders, but they still did it. What did they learn there? Learned all about communication skills, learned about people skills. They really learned about presentation skills a couple of different ways, because they had to present the company in front of a board that gave them a score, and they had to present that company within a certain amount of time. And every executive officer of that company, in other words, those students took on officer roles, had to speak, had to present their case, had to make their argument about why the company was a good company for its growth potential. So they learned about one-on-one communication with regards to the trade show. They learned about how to make a group presentation in front of a board of panelists. So that was done also. And making eye contact, body language, how to show that they were very confident in the whole thing. 'Cause all that stuff really counts. And then there was the bulk of the students that took on other supporting roles. So you had some leaders that were created in there, had some followers that were, they came to be. You had others that sat back a little quiet, that were really behind the scenes, but had a major impact in the whole thing. Major impact. So did those students learn about creativity? Did they learn about branding their company? Did they learn about sales? Did they learn about people skills? Did they learn about project management? And they actually, when they went to the trade show, they had to bring some physical representation of their product. Ooh, go figure that out. And they only had a certain amount of weeks to do it. They only had I think maybe two class periods a day, or I think it's one class period a day in order to do that. So there was a lot of work that had to be done, and a lot of work that had to be done individually or with little committees in there where they were responsible to others. What do you think they learned on that whole thing? They learned everything. Most important thing they learned on that, it's not so much about how to present at a trade show, very important to do. It wasn't so much that they stood there and they learned how to present on camera or in person. Different events had different requirements about their company. It wasn't that they had to write a script out, and they did write out a script about what was said and how they were going to describe the company. Wasn't about choosing who should be president, vice president, treasurer, who should be the accountant, who should be the marketing, sales, in all of these roles, who should be the project management person too, to make sure everything got done, created a timeline, everything got done on time. You know what they really learned? You know what they really truly learned? They learned about who they were because they were put into a situation that was totally different. Totally different. And that really is the key to everything. If you get put into a situation that's totally different, you're going to learn amazing things about yourself. Whether you have a new company you wanted to start and you just got the thing started, you're going to learn so many more things about you because you have to make those decisions. You have to be the one that decides how big of a place you're going to have, whether or not you're going to have a place. Maybe just do it online. Where to go, how to do it, how to hire somebody, how to hire or outsource different things. There's so many things that go into it. If you're rebranding, it's a matter of, okay, you're going to be the one that has to make the call. Granted. And you obviously should contact other people to get their opinions on different things. See what's going on in and around your community that you have the place. See who your competition is. Know who your competition is. Now, I'll say it again and again and again. You're reaching out to the Small Business Development Center. You're reaching out to the Miller Business Center to get a lot of these information. You can get coaches. The Small Business Development Center has got people working there that their role is to help you execute your business plan. That's right. They're going to help you execute. You got to come in there with knowing what you want to do, but they're going to help you actually get it done and get the rest of those resources. The Miller Business Center, you get any kind of research that you need. How big is the industry? How many people live in the area? Whatever it is that you need. And if you don't know what you need, they're great because they'll kind of guide you along as to what you should be considering, even if you didn't think that you should be considering that. In that case, sometimes more information is a lot better than less information to make those. But no matter what, you're going to be put in those situations just like those kids were, those young adults were. Did they know exactly what that class was? Probably had a great understanding of what it was, but did they really understand what it's like to build a business, present the business, write those speeches, sell the product, do all the rest of that stuff, compete against other schools at these trade shows? It's the Virtual Enterprise Group, their trade shows. Fantastic stuff. That's the thing that I think our schools really should be fostering as much as they possibly can, because we deal with that all the time. We have to deal with it all the time. Even if you're working for a company, inside of a company, even if you're an employee of a company doing the 9 to 5 thing, your brand is incredibly important. And you just might want to work that 9 to 5 and you're out of there. Well, guess what? That's your brand. That's it. You're going to be relied on for 9 to 5. Do the job. That's good. Solid employee of the company. Gotta love a solid employee of the company. You also gotta love, depending upon management, of course, those employees that are adding their creativity. They're looking at things on the what if, what if, what if we did things a little bit differently? How can we actually improve this thing that's going on? It was interesting. There was a company in Connecticut. I spoke to a gentleman that worked worked for the school system, and he was asked by one of the major manufacturers up there to conduct a project. They wanted to, that company, it was an aerospace company actually, wanted to develop a new product, and they had a very clear idea as to what that product was going to be. They didn't really have a clear idea as to how they were going to do it. So what they did is they gave that project to students. To students, obviously, the students were knowledgeable and all this of that stuff. But what the students didn't know, what they didn't know, was, quote unquote, that water cooler thing. Well, we've always done it that way because it's always been done that way. Well, students never did it. So they would have no concept of the way it's always been done. So they were much more free thinkers because they were allowed to be free thinkers when it came to this thing. There was no mistakes. I'm sorry. There was no errors what they did. There's always mistakes. You learn from those mistakes and you move on from it. But given the fact that they had all that latitude to go and develop something in a way that they thought made sense, was a different approach than what the engineers did working for that company. It doesn't even make a difference what the outcome was on the whole thing. But it was a great moment in time for those students to really learn what it is that they can do and how to freely think. Freely think. I go back at a couple of things that I've done that, I'm glad I did it. It was massive learning experiences. I ran a conference for Toastmasters. I had no idea what I was doing. Not a clue in the world. Was I nervous about it? You bet I was. I certainly was. Not when I presented to the group, but I was. And it's because I didn't know what I was doing. I've never done it before. I didn't know the expectations of the district. And I wasn't sure actually who most of our committee members were. There was 17 committees. I didn't know who our committee chairs were. Forget about members, even the chairs and the whole thing. So what I gained from that whole experience was I learned a lot about managing my time, managing people, motivating people, and giving them the ability to own their portion of that event. Each committee chair had the ability to do whatever it is to accomplish what I'd like to see accomplished, but how they accomplished it was totally up to them, just like those students. Same thing. It was such a great experience for me. I wish I actually spoke to those committee people to ask what their big takeaway was on the whole thing. But I can tell you from my standpoint, jumping into something I didn't know was it was great. It really was great. I was able to explore, learn about different aspects of me along the way, and not a darn thing of it had to do with being an event planner. Maybe I did learn I don't really want to be an event planner. So you can leave that with Alex. Let him be the event planner, event supporter, coming up with an idea. All that stuff is good. Speaking at them, all that stuff is good. But filling seats, whoo, man, that's a challenge. But you should know is that event, actually, that event set a record for the district. We had more people attend that event than ever before. And it was Mother's Day weekend. That was a problem. It was a while back. It was 2009. It was when the economic crisis in 2009 was. It was in Tarrytown. Most of our district members were on Long Island in New York City. Getting up to Tarrytown was time, energy, and effort. You had to take the train or a car, to get up there. So it was like one thing after another. It's like, they didn't think. They didn't think. And that was the other greatest motivator. And maybe that's where the opportunities come along through the different challenges that we face. Is the fact that I was told that I'm probably not going to see good attendance at this thing because of all those reasons. That motivated me in order to move forward. So what motivates you? Figure that out. Take ownership in whatever you're doing. Take full ownership in it. That'll become you. That'll become your brand. That'll become how people perceive you if you're really, truly authentic to that whole thing. So it doesn't matter. You're going to start a new business. Fantastic. You're going to rebrand an existing business. Fantastic. You're going to go into some project that you've never done before. Fantastic. You can inspire a student to go and do the same thing. Fantastic. Because all those things that you learn from there, they're all transferable to everything that we do. Not some of the things we do, but everything they do. because every one of those situations gives us an opportunity to learn more about the most important thing of them all, us. Us. What really drives us, what really pushes us forward, what really, really we should be focused on. That's the important thing. That really is it. All right, we are at 30 minutes and 50 seconds. Went over again. One day, I'll move that clock over here. We'll end this thing right on time instead of me darting my head off to the side. Hey, who knows? Maybe tomorrow we go outside. Wouldn't that be nice? Can enjoy a little sunshine. Hey, if you're free tonight, I think I'm going to head down to the car show, Mount Carmel Church in Patchogue. Should be fun. Bring in the camera. I'm going to see if I can shoot video. Maybe I'll interview somebody just for the sake of it to see how that comes out. Another learning moment. All right, my friends, do what you do best. Speak well, speak often, and live inspired. Yeah, just might impact somebody along the way.